following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
The House of Wax, the ultimate dimension in terror, comes to the screen in Stereovision 3D. Vincent Price at his diabolical best will take you room by terrible room on a journey to the ultimate chamber of horrors. Stereovision 3D will synthesize before your eyes the terrifying reality of it all. In Stereovision 3D, House of Wax.
Welcome back to the Collector Zone. I'm Jeff Dickinson. I got something killer to show you. Now, I got scissors. This is something that I wasn't really looking for. It was just, I was doing my research. Now, you know me, man. I'm about collecting. Oh, let me get this out of the way. Sorry. I'm about collecting, get my cool 3D movies, and look what I found. Now, this is a compilation box set of 3D rare, promotional stuff. I think there's movies and some trailers. Here's the back end of it. So I was looking on Amazon, and this was normally retailing. Let me show you the special features here. It says right here. It was retailing for $60, but it was on sale, half off. I was watching it, and it didn't really move all that much. Now, check this out. My very first 3D movie is this one right here, The House of Wax. I highly recommend this if you've never seen it. Let me show you the box here. I was a kid, like back in the 70s, I think 72 or 3 it came out. And that was my very first 3D movie. My mom took me and my little brother, and we saw it. It was pretty cool. And what comes with just a disc here. But you can score this if you want. This is my very first 3D film. And of course, the 80s and the early 2000s, you had 3D. But I want to see what's the stuff before, that 1953 Vincent Price movie. I'm a huge Vincent Price fan, so seeing that movie was really killer. And watching it again in 3D was awesome, man. It was really cool. But yeah, here it is. Let me give you a little once over without all the glare. So if you're like me into the behind the scenes stuff and how they make stuff, the House of Wax had some really cool, behind the scenes stuff. How they did the movie, and they interviewed not only the actors and the director. And here's a little funny thing with the House of Wax. The director was a one-eyed guy. So we got ourselves a little book here, seems like. I think it is book. Yeah, okay. So before we dive in, let's take a look here. So yeah, I'm all about the coolness of 3D. How long has it existed? I remember the Viewmasters, growing up and stuff. That's kind of cool. And, I knew, growing up with the 3D Viewmasters, that was really cool. Let's take a look at the book here. It's a nice little thick book. Here's the back end of it. So, not knowing much about it going in, I decided, you know what, I'm going to check this out. And, reading about it from the listing, I'll put a link below if you want to score too. Not sure what the price is going to be by the time you're watching this, but, I picked it up brand new for half price of $60 for 30. I think it was like 28 and some change or 29. But man, it was all about, trying to see what was going on prior to the coolness of 1953. Now, my mom, she was born in 44. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us, so I can't ask these really killer questions about this 3D stuff that I have now that I didn't have when I was a kid. But I remember getting the glasses. Look at that. And, hopefully you can see all this. Am I going too fast? I hope not. There you go. And if you're like me, the kid, you remember the 3D glasses. The House Wax had black plastic 3D glasses. It wasn't like that blue and red like you saw back in the days. I was watching The Creature from the Black Lagoon and, all those cool 3D movies that they aired on TV, and you went down and picked up the glasses from the store. It was highly advertised, back in the day. And of course, you guys who remember 3D in the 2000s, man, started doing that again. I think it was around the mid of early 2000 through 2016, 17, around there, something like that. Can't remember, man. I've been just enjoying the world of 3D and everything that you can get with it. And, and like I said, if you're like me, only into behind the scenes and want to know how it's all done, this will fascinate the hell out of you. For me, I just want to know how they did it. And they have some remastered stuff here, Look at that. The fight in 3D, that shit's cool to me, how they were doing all that. So, just thinking about these things and, just, if you were like me, like I said, I'll link below. I just want you to see all this here. I didn't expect this nice little book here. But this is really cool. So this is what you're going to get here. Oh, look at that. First time seeing the atom bomb in 3D. Holy crap, that's going to be fucking killer. Yeah, and that was done in 1953. So, yeah, there's going to be some killer stuff here. If you're like me, you're interested in seeing what was going on. Oh, look at this here. Stop motion back in the day in 3D. Oh, wow, that's got to be a trip. So you're getting all these little cool things. And like I said, this little book companion is really cool. I mean, I wasn't really expecting this. But then again, I do my unboxing videos and I try to share my experiences and my thoughts, especially, when I collect. Because, this channel was originally done for my family and my close friends want to know what's going on with my collecting. So I was sharing it. But yeah, man. Like I said, this is something that I was really extremely excited to get. And, eBay. Oh, I was just curious on how much of this shit would go on eBay. And those guys are nuts. But hey, it's on Amazon. $30 at the time of this recording. And I highly recommend this right here as well, the House Wax. We'll put those two right beside here. That way you can see it. Now, the trailer for the House Wax you just saw at the beginning of this video. So let's check out the trailer to 3D Rarities, man. Links below. Until next time, my fellow collectors, we'll catch you in the next one. Laters.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lloyd Nolan. You know, I feel very privileged that I'm about to become the first actor ever to appear before the public in natural vision, 3-dimension. Now, I assume that you all have your magic glasses on. They really are magic.